In this video, I'm going to show you how to sell, host, replay, and then upsell from live events inside of Circle. Circle is the community platform that I use for my own hybrid community. Hybrid communities are something that I've talked a lot about lately. There's plenty of videos here on my channel that I'll link down below in the description for you to watch after this one. But if your business is based off of events, particularly live events, and you want to learn how to create them inside of Circle and utilize all of the tools without having to use anything else except for Circle, then this is the video for you. To get started, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our actual event, and that's going to take care of the sell component of this tutorial. So we're going to go into our event space. I've got a demo one here inside of my community. I'll go ahead and click New Event, and we can give our event a name. This is going to be public facing. I'll call mine a demo paid workshop, but if you were doing like a live event, you would name this the live event. Next, you can choose when the event takes place, and you can choose whether it repeats. Now, let's say you wanted to do like a 3-day live workshop. You could say that this repeats daily after, let's say, 3 occurrences. Now, because we're using Circle, we get access to these awesome live room and live stream features. The difference between the two is that a live stream, think of it like a one, which is you, to many, which are the attendees of your event. I think this is probably the best option for a live workshop or something like that. You can choose live room, which would be more like a Zoom interaction where everybody's able to unmute and talk. There is a Q&A feature in both of these options, which is very helpful, but I would recommend choosing live stream. In terms of the view, you can choose gallery. I tend to choose speaker, so that just stays on me if I'm doing the event. And visibility, of course, would be event attendees. Next, it'll say, is this event paid? We are going to say it's a paid event. Now notice in doing so, it automatically toggled on hide location from non-attendees and disabled live link sharing. I think that's totally fine. I would set it just like that by default. Next up, we can choose our price. And what's really cool about this is that this is all built into Circle. We have the ability to sell tickets right through our own community platform. So let's say that this was a $47, and then we'll put a description. Next, we'll go ahead and click Save Draft, and we can come back in and edit our event if we wish. The only thing that's been locked really is the occurrences. Otherwise, we can come into our post details, and this is where we can upload a cover image if we like. They give you the dimensions for that, and you can also describe your event. I've populated mine with just a little bit of information, and I'll go ahead and upload an image. I put in a random image that I had used in Circle previously for other events. It's just a good placeholder to show you what that's going to look like. All right, so now we've got our post details. Next, we can go to notifications, and we can choose to send push notifications to space members. I think that's a good idea. And we can choose to send email notifications and in-app notifications. So email notifications, that one's self-explanatory. In-app notifications, so if we hover over this little question mark, you'll be able to receive a notification in the Circle app itself, which is inside of the application. There's like a notifications area as well as on a phone, and there's a desktop app. So you can send these notifications in the app. You can also customize the thank you message. So this would be a great place to give information with like a button link. You could change the words. Maybe you have a downloadable file that goes with your workshop, maybe a prep PDF or something like that to get ready for it. You could host that somewhere, possibly even on Circle, but wherever you host your files, you put the link in there, change the words like download your prep sheet, and then give a description or not. You could simply say, click here to go back to the community, whatever you want to do if you want to customize your message. I'll leave mine uncustomized. Next, we can go to our reminder section, and I leave these two options on by default to send in-app reminders and email reminders. And then you can come in and click these 3 dots and you can edit this default notification, which I find is pretty good. But if you were hosting an event that you think is a little bit more branded, or that you needed to include more details about the event, perhaps because of the nature of the workshop, you could totally customize this and add all the information that you'd want. And then you could add additional reminders, such as sending it to people that are going or all attendees, etc. You can choose when it goes out, that type of thing. So it's a really great system that these events for your workshops, or at this point, you could even call this a webinar. All these reminders are all inside of the platform. Lastly, we can go to the advanced section and we can choose to disable likes or comments or hide RSVPs or limit space. I think out of all of these options, the only one that I would personally choose would be to limit the RSVPs if I had limited space. Maybe it was like a scarcity play. You could say limited to the first 50 people or 10. Maybe you're doing a more like a personal coaching and you want 5 people in there, so you could limit the attendees. I'm going to turn that on just so you can see what it looks like. I'll put 10. And then if your community is public, there's SEO stuff, but mine's private. So we'll go ahead and hit save changes, and we're going to save this for this and all following events. However, because it is a 3-day event period, you can choose to edit individual events and make changes to them. That might be very helpful for the reminders that go out, maybe upload a custom graphic image for all of them, whatever you might want to do. But I'll hit accept on that, and then I'll hit publish. And then we'll publish this and all of the events. Here's what the events look like for me as the admin who created them. I'm automatically RSVP'd for them, and the event does start in 11 minutes. But it is worth clarifying something that I don't know if I made clear before. When I said that this is a 3-day or repeats for 3 days, what this has essentially done is it's created 3 events that each cost $47. So to clarify, this setup is not for $47 for all 3 days. This is $47 each event. So this would be like creating the same event 3 times. So I just wanted to clarify that if it wasn't immediately clear. If you're interested in more of a 3 or 5 day challenge type video where somebody can purchase access to a challenge that is spread over multiple days and pay just once, I have a video on that coming. It may already be available. Be sure to check my Circle playlist. I will be linking that down below in the description as well as at the end of this video. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. Now let's go ahead and see what this looks like if we are logged in with a user that is not registered. I'm logged in as my testing account now, and you can see that there are the events. Each of them has only a few spots remaining because we set them to 10. The event does start in 9 minutes because I didn't change the time. And you can see here who's hosting it. That's me, obviously. And then the price for the event, and there's the price for each of the events. And if I click on buy ticket, you can see I have this nice sidebar section that brought in my image, very clean, details about the workshop, when it is. This particular one would be on this day at this time, and I can purchase it here. If I had a coupon code that I created for it, I could enter it in there. And then there's your typical checkout details here on the right-hand side. And if the user is already a member of the community, they are already logged in, like it is here, then the details are already in, they're logged in. If they had a saved card on file, that would be available here as well. Next up, I want to show you how you can create a sales page for this event. We can open up our navigational menu here in the upper left-hand corner and then go to Content. Then we'll go to Pages and we'll click New Page, or maybe you already have a page that you like. I've brought up one here that's just a basic demo that I've created where you could populate all the content, and this is using Circle's page or website builder. It's coming along nicely since I created my first video all about it. You now have the ability to do rich text formatting, which gives you the option to do things like hit return and bold text. It's getting there. It's getting better over time. My hope is for there to be inline editing soon. So you can use like the default templates that they have. They have several different ones, and they also have these blocks that you can drop in. Some of them are quite nice actually, and you can drop in pricing tables. You could drop in stats and things like that. You could drop in CTAs, and you could link over to the event post that you just created. So this could be a public facing sales page that links directly into your community to give access to an event. Maybe that event space is a public space. You could totally do that, but you can see here, this looks very, very clean, very nice. I think most people would be completely fine with this being a workshop sales page. I do have an entire separate video all about how to use the page builder. I will link that down below in the description where I go over details like the page settings, and maybe you want this to be open to everyone in the public, which would make sense in this case to sell a public paid workshop. But maybe this is a paid workshop to members only, in which case you would want to restrict access to this page only to those who are in your, let's say, your membership's access group. That's where you would update it here under the page settings. Now, since you are using the Circle live stream for this, it's going to record it. We can come in here, we can edit our event, and we can make sure that the record this live is toggled on. We can do this during the setup of our event. Absolutely turn this on. What's really cool about this is that we could also toggle on automatically post this recording to the event. This is super nice because notice what happened as soon as I toggled on automatically post recording to the event. It hides the event location and the recording from non-attendees. That's amazing, right? Because now we can sell access to the event, record it live inside of our Circle account, have the replay automatically go into the paid event, and now people can go back and watch the replays automatically. So essentially in our sell, host, replay, and upsell components, we've already taken care of the sell. We've taken care of the host because it's inside of the event in the live stream feature in Circle. The replay is handled directly by the same exact feature that created the event. It posts there automatically. And yes, you can download those events. You can save them. You can upload them to a different video host, maybe to a Vimeo. You could put that video on a separate page inside of your Circle account and maybe make that page private. You can do some really cool things with access groups and workflows. Maybe we'll take a look at those here in a second. But that would be a way to then take the video out of your Circle account if for some reason you are worried about your storage. But for the most part, setting it up like this just takes care of everything for you. So I am going to save those changes for all of these events. Now, the last component of our sell, host, replay, and upsell is upsell. And that's your ability to sell to those who attend your workshops. Now, there's numerous different ways that you can do this. Now, let's say that I had found the sales page, maybe linked from my website or my YouTube channel to join this workshop, paid my $47 to attend the workshop. Well, here I am in the community. I'm technically logged out, and that demo event space would be here if I made it public. But for this video, I'm not going to show my community members these fake events. But essentially, you could make the space public, and I could see public events. I could click on it. That's how I would buy access. So pretend that's right there. Well, all these other spaces are not available to me. And in addition to that, I see this sales feature here in front of me that says Join Convology Plus, for example. So you can utilize Circle's access restrictions and Circle's ability to put these types of promotions in front of people so that they can see when they're here, the place they're going to watch the event. What if I wanted to go to the tech help space? Let me click on that. So I'm being exposed to the things that I don't have. These could be courses. And for example, I do have 2 of my programs in the sidebar in addition to my discussion spaces. My business growth loop, for example, is one of my courses. And if I wanted to, I could create a fully custom, I call these access restriction pages. So this one could say, want to join the business growth loop? It's only available to Convology Plus members. I could customize it, put some images. I'm just lazy and I use the same one for all of them. Seems to work just fine for me. But you could customize the access restriction so that somebody who comes here to join your event and pay $47 can be exposed to more of the things that you have available inside of your community. In addition to those access restriction pages, we can also use a workflow automation system inside of Circle built right into it in order to communicate with people who have registered for our event. So you can come in here in the drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner and go to workflows. Now there are tons of different workflows in here, but we can start from scratch and I can show you a really easy way to create a workflow. So we'll create an automation from scratch. Our trigger will be that they registered for the event. So we can say event RSVP'd, or we can say attended event. Let's just say RSVP'd. Let's choose the specific event here, and the event would be our demo paid workshop, the $47 one. As our demo here, we'll hit continue. Now what we can do is we can start to trigger things like send them an email. If you're using Circle's email tools, I do all my email marketing on a third-party platform, but in this video, I really want to focus just on what you can do in Circle. So if you did want to use Circle's built-in email marketing tools, it does cost extra, and I don't pay for it because I use another tool, but you could utilize Circle's email tools. That would be the lowest friction way to do this. But what I really love to do is send them push notifications and direct messages. So you could say that when somebody RSVPs for the event, send them a direct message. I think this is a great way to follow up because in your community by default, you can have notifications on so that when somebody receives a DM from you, they also get an email and a push notification to the app. I think that's super powerful. I will say that if you did want to sell access to all the events in the series, you could use the RSVP or invite members to the event. You could register them for the subsequent recurring events. For example, here is the next one. I could hit continue. And now I've essentially, when they RSVP to the first one, I can set it up so that they can get invited to the second and the third. So you really could do a series of events where you could say, this is going to be a 3-day event. All 3 of them can be purchased individually, but if you buy, this event, it gives you access to all of them. Maybe you're teaching 3 separate concepts over a 3-day period. You could do a paywall, and I'll create a separate video about this, but you could create a paywall and invite them. This is a little teaser on how to do that. One of the other features that I like to use is I like to trigger an action here that will add them to an access group called Workshop Attendee, and then that can give them access to a page inside of the community that is set to only grant access to people who are in that access group. That's a great way also to share replays if you don't want to embed them directly inside of the Circle event itself. So hopefully you now have an understanding of how you can run live events inside of Circle with very little effort and how you don't have to utilize third-party tools unless you wanted to. I think I would probably implement my email marketing outside, in which case I would use something like Zapier or another type of tool to integrate with my own platform. But if you had Circle's email feature, you could directly email attendees, upsell them into your program, or you can use the built-in workflows and direct message them, which still sends an email anyway. And of course, there are the pages that you can control who gets to access them, as well as all of the other spaces inside of your community that people would be able to see what they don't have access to be able to join. So if you are interested in learning more about Circle, check out this playlist right here. It also includes some videos about hybrid communities and the business model that I personally use. But if you want to know exactly which video to watch next, I highly recommend this one.